A very good morning and a warm welcome to all the students of class 11th political science, and students, welcome back to the online classes here. And also I hope and pray that all of you are fit and healthy at your homes, and along with that you are also following all the necessary precaution to fight against the COVID-19 virus. As you know, due to the unusual circumstances which have been going on in our country from the last year, there has been an imbalance in our day-to-day activities, and due to which you can see your board exams were initially postponed, but later on they are now finally cancelled. Okay, keeping in mind the current circumstances and consequences which could have occurred because of it. So all of you now have been promoted to class 11th on the basis of internal assessment record by the school. So whatever record we had, according to that you have been assigned the various streams. Okay, though your result is still yet to be declared officially by the CBSE, still I would take an opportunity here to again congratulate each one of you for being promoted to class 11th. So now we will say that it's a fresh beginning and a fresh inning for all of you, as in class 11th you have a particular stream, and that particular stream of you is the humanities, and I would take a particular branch of humanity, that is political science. And basically the meaning of humanities is it is a academic discipline that studies aspects of human society and culture, and under that society and culture we will study the economic aspect, political aspect, historical aspects, language aspect, sociology and psychological aspects. But in your syllabus we will be studying only economics, political science, history, English and physical education, and I shall be taking political science for all of you. Okay, so for political science, you shall be having two books, that is part A and part B. Part A is Constitution at Work and part B is Political Theory. So we will be starting with the part A, that is Constitution at Work. And under Constitution at Work, these are the contents of your book. There are total 10 chapters, but there are few changes as by the CBSE new revised syllabus, and I shall be explaining you first of all the contents and which chapters we have to cover and which are the topics we have to merge, and all the details relating to the new syllabus which has been uploaded by the CBSE for this particular session of 2021 to 22. So first of all I shall be discussing your contents here. Okay, so this is the part A, that is the Indian Constitution at Work, and let's see the chapters and the contents. So the first chapter which we will discuss from this particular video is the Constitution, why and how. And the second chapter is rights in the Indian Constitution. But according to the new revised syllabus, chapter number 1 and chapter number 2, these two have been merged together. So under this chapter, that is Constitution, we will also study some of the important topics of this chapter, that is rights in the Indian Constitution, which consists of the fundamental rights, fundamental duties and directive principles of the state policies. So these three topics we will cover along with this chapter, Constitution. So if you want, you can also search it on Google. You will find the new syllabus of 2021 and 22 session, which has been already uploaded. In that there are changes, so these two chapters have been merged, and along with these two, one more topic, that is the last chapter, that is the chapter, the philosophy of the Constitution, the basic simple topic, the philosophy of the Constitution. We also have to discuss this topic with particular this chapter number 1 again. Okay, so in this chapter, that is the Constitution, some topics have been deleted from your NCERT book, and some topics from chapter number 2 and last chapter, that is philosophy of the Constitution, chapter number 10, has been added with chapter 1. So now chapter 1 consists of chapter number 1, 2 and chapter number 10. But some topics of the original chapters of Constitution, rights in the Indian Constitution and the philosophy of the Constitution has been deleted. So this is how we are going to cover our first chapter. Then we will study something related to elections and representation, and in this we will understand the system which we follow in India, election system in India. Then, as you know, these three would be the important topics of this book, that is the three organs of the government: executive, legislature, judiciary. In the past you have already read about these three important organs of the government. Okay, but here we'll see it in detail and we'll do the deep study of these important institutions of the government. Then this year, last year this topic was cut down, but this year they have included federalism till now, and under this we'll see how the powers are being distributed between and among the central government, state government, and the local government, and why it is important. So all that concept we'll understand under federalism. Then we'll understand this concept, that is local government. Okay, so local government is one of the important structure if we have to understand the complete functioning of the three organs of the government, or democracy. When we talk about democracy, in that we'll understand local government and the functioning of local government. This chapter, constitution as a living document, this has been completely deleted and cut down, so we will not do any topic relating to constitution as a living document, but we'll take only a one or two topic from this chapter, the philosophy of the constitution, with chapter number 1, that is constitution. So this is the way we'll cover with the first part, that is the Indian constitution at work, and then the other part, that is we'll discuss in detail about this part when once we finish the first part. But still I have written some of the basic and the important political phenomena which we face in our everyday life, and under this book, that is part B, political theory, we'll understand the theory and the theory relating to freedom, equality, justice, rights, citizenship, nationalism, secularism, peace, development, and freedom, equality, justice. These are some of the important political phenomena which we practically face and experience in everyday life. So we'll see and study them deeply, and we'll study their roots, from where these concepts have emerged, and which scholars and philosophers have helped to understand these terms, which are as freedom, equality, justice, etc. Okay, so now today in this video we will start some of the introduction part of the chapter constitution. Okay, so let's understand the title of the chapter, that is constitution. And from the very junior classes 6th, 7th, 8th, you have been studying about the constitution. So I hope and everybody knows the some of the simple definition of the constitution, that constitution is a written set of rules according to which our country or a state is governed, or our government is governed. So how we have to function, how our country functions, that is all written in the constitution. So it is a simple set of a book of rules, we can say. Okay, but that was a definition which you used to write in the junior classes. But now as a student of political science and humanities, you need to be more professional into your subjects. So we'll write some good definitions of constitution which you can write in the exams and will be helpful for you. So apart from the simple definitions, you need to understand some of these definitions as well. Meaning will be the same as you had heard earlier. So the meaning of the constitution, a body of fundamental principles. So constitution is a body of some of the fundamental, most basic and important fundamental principles, or established precedents. Presidency means already existing principles or rules, already existing and principles, rules, according to which a state or the other organization of the are acknowledged to be governed. So these are, it means constitution is a body or a fundamental body, or we can see a written set of rules or in principles according to which a state or all the institutions of the country are acknowledged, or how they have to be governed. Everything is described in that particular written book, that is called constitution. Okay, so this is one of the important definition, and I've written one more. The constitution is a written set of laws, as you know that, and fundamental principles to develop a relationship. And why these written laws and fundamental principles are written down in the constitution? So that we can develop a relationship between the people and the government, so that we can have a good relationship between the people and the government, and there can be a smooth functioning of our society, which comprises a number of articles about the state. So there are various provisions and articles written down in the constitution, according to which a country and the people and the citizens have to work and follow the instructions of the law. So this is all about constitution. So these two are just the definitions. And the first topic of our book, according to the new revised syllabus which we have to cover, is why do we need a constitution? The most basic question which can be asked from class 8, 9, 10th students also. But now we'll have a deep study of these concepts. Why do we need a constitution, and why we will be explaining the answer to this question, because this chapter starts with a question, why do we need a constitution? Now you know the meaning of the constitution. So while we are answering the answer of this question, it means we are answering the functions and features. So there can be a question, what are the functions and features of the constitution? And there can be a question, why do we need a constitution? The answers will be same. So here we will be discussing 4 or 5 important functions or features of the Indian constitution. The first one has been written down here, as you can see. First, constitution allows coordination and assurance. Constitution, what is the first function of the constitution? It allows coordination among the citizens, among the states, and among the various peoples and institution of the country. It provides the coordination, plus it provides assurance and confidence on one another. Okay, and this coordination and assurance is only possible if we follow our constitution. So it is going to be a bit complicated for you. We'll try to understand with the help of an example. Like we have seen a game, there are various games. Okay, we take the example of cricket. So when we are playing cricket, we have to follow basic rules and regulations, and those are the basic rules and fundamental principles which each player of the both the teams have to follow. And suppose a situation where the people doesn't know any basic rules and regulations, so there would be a disaster. I would say there would be conflicts and tensions between the players at every ball, and after every ball and after every incident they will fight amongst each other, they will discuss, they will debate, because they do not have the basic rules. But once all the players know the rules and regulations of the cricket, that how the bowler has to ball, what are the rules, when a player hits the ball outside the boundary, 6 runs are given. If it goes with a one bounce, then 4 runs are given. So there are various, what is LBW out. Okay, how many balls are there in a over? Okay, so there are so many rules and regulation as the students mostly use, and now you see Indian Premier League and so many matches of India. So if suppose two teams doesn't know any basic rules, so there will be so much of conflict and disturbances and fights between the two countries. To avoid those fights, to avoid those conflicts and debates, there are basic rules which assures and brings coordination among the players. So that basic rules of the cricket, they form the coordination and assurance among the player. Yes, that both the teams have to follow the same basic rules and principles. In the same way, in our society, if we want our society to function smoothly, and there should be no problems in the society, there are no disturbances, no conflicts. As we know, Indian society is having a diversity in terms of caste, religion, language. At every step you will find a huge diversity in India. So that diversity leads to many conflicts, but we have to stay in the same society, and if we have to stay in the same society, we must have some basic rules according to which we can be governed, and those basic rules are provided by the government. Okay, so that is why we can say constitution allows coordination and assurance. People from different religion, age, gender and profession come together. How can they come together? When there will be some basic rules. Coordinate and assure them. And how we can show coordination and assure them? Through the constitution only. And people agree on basic rules known to all members, enforceable, because those basic rules are enforceable laws. If you don't follow those rules, you can be punished. So if you violate the rules and regulation or the basic rules, you can be punished. And once one can be punished, it means it gives assurance to the other members, okay, we have to follow this rule. If we violate the rules of the society, we may be punished by the law. It means those basic rules are laws are enforceable, plus they show assurance and confidence among the citizens. So example has been taken here of the classroom and the society. So in the classroom also we see so many diversities. People belong to different castes, color, languages, okay, different places, but still we have to stay in the same class, we have to stay together. For that we follow basic rules which has been derived out by the school. So school has some basic rules which everyone has to follow. Okay, and that is why there can be a smooth functioning of the classroom. In the same way, in the society also there are different people with different tastes, different profession, different choices, different religion, caste, languages, but still we have to stay together. And to stay together we have to follow some basic rules. And to have and to follow those basic rules, what it becomes important, they have written a question, what will enable a group to live together? How can we as a group can live together apart than our diversity peacefully? Because of following our constitution. If we follow the some basic rules and fundamental principles given by the constitution, and those laws are enforceable. So after the explanation of the first function of the constitution, we can write this as a whole here. The first function of the constitution, or the first feature also, instead of you feature also you can mention in the exam, if feature comes or function comes, the first feature or function of a constitution is to provide a set of basic rules that allows for minimal coordination amongst members of a society. So this is the first function which we have discussed with the help of the examples also. I hope you have understood that. Here is the second function, or the second feature, or the answer to the question, that is why do we need a constitution. The second point would be specification of decision making power. Here the constitution specifies, makes it clear that who will make the decisions, who will have the power to make decisions at the various platforms. When we talk about the governments, we have various organs, or the three organs: judiciary, legislature and executive. We have Supreme Court. We have various institutions run by the government. So who will take the decisions at what level, all are specified by the constitution. So there cannot be any conflicts in future relating to the division of the power, because it is very much clear and specified specifically to everyone that who will take the power, or who will make the decisions, who has the power to make decisions actually. So the constitution is a body of fundamental principles, as you know, based on which rules are formulated. On the basis of various principles, various rules are formulated. A state is constituted and governed. How a government has to work, how a country has to work, what will be the important organs, what will be the decisions taken by which particular body or institution. Everything has been carved down or drafted by the forefathers of the constitution. Okay. So the constitution specifies the basic allocation of power. So all the powers have been allocated in the society, that in the society who has the power to make decision at what level. So there are various levels. When we'll study the topics relating to the governments or relating to Supreme Court, you will understand that. Various articles and provisions are written down in the constitution specifying the various allocation of the powers in the society. It specifies who has the power to make decisions in the society. So it means as a whole we can understand the second function as, the second function of the constitution is to specify who has the power to make decisions in the society. So it is constitution that specifies that who will make decisions in the society on what matters. It decides how the government will be constituted, how government will be formed, what powers will government have, what will be the limitations on the power of the government. Okay, what will the power of prime minister, president, council of ministers. Okay, what will the powers of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, Supreme Court, High Courts. Everything has been specified by the constitution. So with this we come to the end of two functions, and in this particular chapter part or the video, I'll keep up to the two important functions. You need to study these in details and also understand the meaning of constitution in detail now, in depth. It's not just learning the one definition and small definition which you have been studying from class 6th and 7th, but now you have to understand it in detail and in depth. Okay, so you do this. I will give you and assign you few questions on the basis of the lecture which we have covered, and you have to submit it on the assigned submission date. Only then you will get the attendance for that particular submission. Okay, till then, thank you, take care. But yes, I just forgot to inform you that you must go through your NCERT book as well. Although I have written the notes for you so that it becomes easy for you to write the answers. And if the question comes, what are the features or the functions of the constitution, or why do we need a constitution? So you know, you must have those notes. So as you know, you must read the NCERT book also. The topic is why do we need a constitution? This we are covering, and under this they have started with certain questions. That is, what is a constitution? We have seen certain definitions. What are its functions? Now we are trying to understand its functions. What role does it perform for a society? What does a constitution relate? How does a constitution relate to our daily existence? Answering this question is not as difficult as you might think. Okay, but this we'll do through various series of lectures. So constitution allows coordination and assurance. This I have explained you with the help of the example of, I have taken the example of cricket match or a football match, and I have explained that how there are various differences between, or the diversity amongst the players and the teams in their ideas, choices. Okay, but their religion, caste, but still they have to stay in the game and they have to play the game, and that could be possible only by following the basic rules of the game. In the same way, in the society and especially in India, we have a huge diversity in terms of class, religion, caste, language, color, okay, choices, professions, but still we cannot leave the country, we cannot go somewhere, we have to stay in the society. Okay, and if we have to stay in the society, for governing the society and for the smooth functioning of the society, there should be some set of basic rules, and those basic rules are provided by the constitution, and those rules or laws are enforceable by the law or by the government, and who do not follow those rules, they can be punished by the court. So imagine yourself a member, they have written here, you have to imagine you are a member of a large group, and imagine that this group has various characteristics with different religions. Some are Hindus, some are Muslims, some are Christians, with different professions. Some profess no religion at all. And then I'm reading it short. Okay, they are also varied in different aspects. They pursue some have different professions. People have different abilities, different hobbies, different taste. So they have all the differences in terms of different taste in films, books. Some are rich, some are poor, some are old, some are young. So you can see so many diversity and differences among the people of the same society. So imagine further that, and now you have to imagine you are the member of this group and likely to have disputes. So many people will have disputes over various aspects of life. There will be conflict definitely relating to their basic ideas and concepts and choices. Some how much property should one be allowed to own? Should it be compulsory? These are some of the questions which can lead to conflicts. How much property should one allow to own? Should it be compulsory that each child be sent to school, or should the parent be allowed to decide? How much should be the group spend on its safety and security? Or should it build more parks instead? Should the group be allowed to discriminate against some of its members? So these are the questions on which there can be various conflicts and tensions and confrontations within the society. So every question with elite a variety of answers from different together. They are dependent upon each other in various ways, but also these members of the society, and they are so different, but still they are dependent on each other on various functions, because everyone having a different function in the society. So somehow they are dependent on each other, they require the cooperation of each other. What will enable what will be the thing that will enable the group to live together peacefully? So it means they are coordinating. It is important for them to stay together. Apart from having so much of diversity, so much of conflicts, they need to stay together to cooperate. And what can be the thing which can help them to stay together peacefully? And that is only the basic rules, some fundamental basic rules provided by the constitution. In the same way, you will take the reading of this page number also, and this is page number 4 of the first chapter, which is a specification of the decision making power. Although I have explained you, but if you read it is in the very simple language and you will be able to understand. So you need to read the NCERT books as well. Okay, with this I'm ending the video now. Thank you so much.